Hi, Mikey. This weekend we were talking about me reading to you and maybe doing some videos for you of me reading. So on Monday, when I came back to DC, I went to the bookstore and I was looking for a book that you might like and that I could read to you and put some videos on the internet for you to watch at night. And I found a copy of Alice in Wonderland. And we have a few copies of this book at home. So I thought this would be a great one to start with. And it is one of my very, 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 very favorite books. And I know you know the story, but Devin also loves it. So I thought it would be one that she could listen to the videos too if she wanted to, and she wouldn't be too bored. So I'm going to read you, I'm going to try and read you a chapter at least a couple of nights a week so that you have some time with me reading to you even though I'm not there. And I thought it would be fun for me too, because I don't get to read a whole lot of books right now. So this will be a way I get to read some books. And there are some really cool pictures in this version of Alice in Wonderland. So I thought a video would be better. And then I can hold up the pictures like this. And you can see them, even though they're backwards when I hold them up. My hair's backwards too. It's kind of weird. I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying not to be distracted by that. Anyway, this is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And the author is Lewis Carroll. So I am going to start with, actually there is an introduction in this book, and it's all about where Lewis Carroll got the idea for Alice. So maybe I'll read that at the end, because that'll be kind of a cool thing for you to hear about. All right. So I'm going to start with the poem before the book, which is right there, and you can see Alice at the top. All in the golden afternoon, full leisurely we glide, for both our oars with little skill by little arms are plied, while little hands make vain pretense our wanderings to guide. Ah, cruel three in such an hour, beneath such dreamy weather, to beg a tale of breath too weak to stir the tiniest feather. Yet what can one poor voice avail against three tongues together? Imperious Prima flashes forth her edict to begin it, and gentler tones Secunda hopes there will be nonsense in it, while Tertia interrupts the tale not more than once a minute. Anon to sudden silence won, in fancy they pursue the dream child moving through a land of wonders wild and new, in friendly chat with bird or beast, and half believe it true. And ever as the story drained the wells of fancy dry, and faintly strove that weary one to put the subject by, the rest next time, it is next time, the happy voices cry. Thus grew the tale of Wonderland, thus slowly, one by one. Its quaint events were hammered out, and now the tale is done. And home we steer, a merry crew, beneath the setting sun. Alice, a childish story take, and with a gentle hand, lay it where childhood's dreams are twined in memory's mystic band, like pilgrims wandered wreath of flowers, plucked in a far-off land. So I think that poem is about the three little girls that Lewis Carroll used to make up stories for. And you can tell that in the poem, he's reading a story and they're wanting him to keep telling the story even when he gets to the end of a chapter. So it's kind of a cool poem about where Wonderland came from. So let's start. Chapter 1, Down the Rabbit Hole. Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank and of having nothing to do. Once or twice she had peeped into the book her sister was reading, but it had no pictures or conversations in it. And what is the use of a book thought Alice, without pictures or conversations. So she was considering in her own mind as well she could, for the hot day made her feel very sleepy and stupid, whether the pleasure of making a daisy chain would be worth the trouble of getting up and picking the daisies, when suddenly a white rabbit with pink eyes ran close by her. There was nothing so very remarkable in that, nor did Alice think it so very much out of the way to hear the rabbit say to itself, oh dear, I shall be too late." When she thought it afterwards, it occurred to her that she ought to have wondered at this, but at the time it all seemed quite natural. But when the rabbit actually took a watch out of its waistcoat pocket and looked at it and then hurried on, Alice started to her feet, for it flashed across her mind that she had never before seen a rabbit with either a waistcoat pocket or a watch to take out of it, and, burning with curiosity, she ran across the field after it and was just in time to see it pop down a large rabbit hole under the hedge. That was all one sentence, by the way. But look, here's the white rabbit and his little waistcoat. And a waistcoat is like it's a short coat. You can see that it's shorter. It doesn't go all the way to his legs, and you can see he has a pocket watch. Looks like he has an umbrella, too. In another moment, Alice went after it, never once considering how in the world she was going to get out again. The rabbit hole went straight on like a tunnel for some way, and then dipped suddenly down, so suddenly that Alice had not a moment to think about stopping herself before she found herself falling down what seemed to be a very deep well. Either the well was very deep, or she fell very slowly, for she had plenty of time as she went down to look about her and to wonder what was going to happen next. First, she tried to look down and make out what she was coming to, but it was too dark to see anything. Then she looked at the sides of the well and noticed that they were filled with cupboards and bookshelves. Here and there she saw maps and pictures hung upon pegs. She took down a jar from one of the shelves as she passed. It was labeled Orange Marmalade. Marmalade's like jelly. But to her great disappointment, it was empty. She did not like to drop the jar for fear of killing somebody underneath, so managed to put it into one of the cupboards as she fell past it. Well, thought Alice to herself, after such a fall as this, I shall think nothing of tumbling downstairs. How brave they'll all think me at home. Why, I wouldn't say anything about it, even if I fell off the top of the house, which was very likely true. Down, down, down. Would the fall never come to an end? I wonder how many miles I've fallen by this time, she said aloud. I must be getting somewhere near the center of the earth. Let me see, that would be 4,000 miles down, I think. For you see, Alice had learned several things of this sort in her lessons in the schoolroom, and though this was not a very good opportunity for showing off her knowledge, as there was no one to listen to her, still it was good practice to say it over. Yes, that's about the right distance, but then I wonder what latitude or longitude I've got to. Alice had not the slightest idea what latitude was, or longitude either, but she thought they were nice, grand words to say. Presently she began again. I wonder if I shall fall right through the earth. How funny it'll seem to come out among the people that walk with their head downwards. The antipathies, I think. She was rather glad there was no one listening this time, as it didn't sound at all the right word. It's not the right word. But I shall have to ask them what the name of the country is, you know. Please, ma'am, is this New Zealand or Australia? And she tried to curtsy as she spoke. Fancy curtsying as you're falling through the air. Do you think you could manage it? And what an ignorant little girl she'll think me for asking. No, it'll never do to ask. Perhaps I shall see it written up somewhere. Down, down, down. There was nothing else to do, so Alice soon began talking again. Dinah will miss me very much tonight, I should think. Dinah was the cat. I hope they'll remember her saucer of milk at tea time. Dinah, my dear, I wish you were down here with me. There are no mice in the air, I'm afraid, but you might catch a bat, and that's very like a mouse, you know. But do cats eat bats, I wonder? I bet you Kaylin eats cats. And here Alice began to get rather sleepy and went on saying to herself in a dreamy sort of way, do cats eat bats? Do cats eat bats? And sometimes, do bats eat cats? For you see, as she couldn't answer either question, it didn't much matter which way she put it. She felt that she was dozing off, and had just begun to dream that she was walking hand in hand with Dinah, and was saying to her very earnestly, "Now, Dinah, tell me the truth. Did you ever eat a bat?" When suddenly, thump, thump, down she came upon a heap of sticks and dry leaves, and the fall was over.